two key points here on this eco tip is no mum, no fun, and the more you purify, the less you have to disinfect. When I'm doing the dishes, and you have a dirty dish rag, instead of filling up the a big dish pan, I just use a little Cool Whip container, and I rinse the rag 3 or 4 times after I'm done wiping things down, and even doing some of the dusting in here, some of the regular stuff like, you know, things you touch a lot, like your mouse and your clicker. And I rinse it 3 or 4 times in that little Cool Whip container with maybe this much water, and I use the water from my rinse water from the night before, unless I already used it, and then I disinfect the rag. Then I put a little dish liquid on it, and I put 8 drops of Clorox to let it soak until the next meal, and then you just wring it out, and you don't even throw that water away. You just keep saving that water. You could either add to it, or you could use it to let your brushes soak in another Cool Whip container. So the point is, I'm purifying before I disinfect. So there's a minimal use of disinfection. And this ties into no mum, no fun. Because isn't it your mother that tells you to do all these things, all these preparation things? Isn't it usually mothers that are on the prevention end of things? And this is a type of prevention, because the less you have to disinfect, the less toxic chemicals you're putting into the environment. And this goes the same way for socializing. Village is such a big thing, and there's so much pressure to be a part of the village, and everybody wants to be famous and touch a movie star. But if there's no mum, there's no fun. And if you don't prepare before you go out, that's why you have to do more drugs and alcohol. You're not only disinfecting the feelings that you don't like on the inside, you're killing them. You're also, you're anesthetizing, and you're numbing yourself to the things that are making you feel those things that you're killing with the drugs and alcohol. So if you can't go out without drinking, I'm not saying it's horrible to drink, but if you can't go out without drinking, it's like having sex with the lights on. If you can't go out without drinking, or it's like not being able to have sex with the lights on, right? Because if you can't go out without drinking, then you're not fit for public consumption. And if you can't have sex with the lights on, then you're not fit for public consumption. So no mum, no fun ties into all of this. Let's face it, the antibiotics killed me. And they don't have terramycin on the market anymore in this country that I know of. But they do sell it in skin creams in some African nations from the last time I checked, but that was 10 years ago. I suspect they're still selling it. That's what killed me. Ruined my chances of any, and then not being able to, and because of child abuse, not being allowed to deal with it the way I knew I could have been dealing with it, like from about the age of 14. So, but it doesn't mean just because that antibiotic's off the market that other antibiotics don't hurt other people just as much as terramycin hurt me. So, and that's what created a lot of my anxiety, combined with the starvation that I went through, the virtual death camp that I'm still in today, that's created by this so-called village that everybody's supposed to. The village is poison to me. So, and it's because I'm disabled, because people have always been able to have that advantage over me, my disability. They want me to keep the same qualities that I have in my disability, because it always gave them an advantage over me. And it's like just another addiction, feeding on other people that are weak. So no mum, no fun. So let's tie that into ecology, because it's the part of, it's why we have Envirogeddon. I mean, women have always been in Socialgeddon, right? And that's, Socialgeddon is part of, slavery is part of Socialgeddon, racism's part, all the isms are Socialgeddon. And that's what creates the desire and the impetus for all addictions, including the consumption, especially, which is the consumption rampage. Addictions are just the consumption rampage. A broad way of looking at it from a total village perspective and global village perspective. And no mum is what is fueling that. So we're going to end up in Envirogeddon. To get out of Envirogeddon, which will possibly decimate most people on the planet, it'll set women back again, because they'll have to chain women to the house again, right, to have more babies. So no mom, no fun. We need the mom in there now, instead of going through Envirogeddon and then, using mom for a baby factory again, when that's completely unnecessary. Gee, maybe I should rethink that $35 million home. So the more you purify with water, the less you have to disinfect. And antibiotics are like a disinfectant, except they're encouraging the world to use them on your body. Don't worry about going out there and socializing too much. Don't worry about over-socializing, because you can make up for that with an antibiotic. Build your network, and we'll just keep giving you more antibiotics so you can disinfect yourself from the inside. Well, that's all wrong, and I'm living proof of it. Now, which kind of resembles a crack baby. It broke down my immune system. So it's also, genetically modifying our genes, these antibiotics, and making people weaker. And drug your way through the social circles that are out there. Purify on the inside, and you won't have to purify naturally on the inside, and you won't have to use so much drugs and alcohol to begin with, which ends up making you use more antibiotics, because you're over-socializing, you're picking up every disease that's out there in the world. My God, when does it end? Saving the world jokes. I shaved my bush, so when I go number one, the hair doesn't suck all that juice up into your butt area and just hang there. So after I did this the last time, I went to Walmart the next day and used the bathroom. And when I came out of the bathroom, some other woman was coming out of the bathroom ahead of me, and there was a wet stain running up the back of her pants.